बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अस्सलाम वालेकुम। आज का लेक्चर जो है वो है आर्बिट्रेशन एक्ट 1940 के। रिसेंटली जो सिविल जज और एडिशनल सिविल जज का सिलेबस रिवाइज हुआ है 2025 में, तो उसमें जो एक नया एक्ट ऐड किया गया आर्बिट्रेशन एक्ट। इससे पहले आर्बिट्रेशन एक्ट नहीं था इसमें। और मजीद जो एक और चेंजिंग हुई है इस रिवाइज सिलेबस में, तो उसमें पहले सिर्फ और सिर्फ सब्जेक्टिव पोर्शन था, अब उसमें ऑब्जेक्टिव पोर्शन भी ऐड कर दिया गया 25% का। तो 25% जो ऑब्जेक्टिव है वो अगर अच्छे से तैयारी कर ली जाए तो पेपर पास करने के चांसेस बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाते हैं, क्योंकि इसमें नेगेटिव मार्किंग नहीं है, कोई राइटिंग की मिस्टेक नहीं होगी, कोई स्पेलिंग मिस्टेक नहीं होगी, कोई इशू नहीं होता। अगर आपने ठीक आंसर किया है तो एक नंबर पूरा का पूरा आपको एक टिक पर मिल जाएगा। तो उसी की कोशिश में मैंने ये सीरीज स्टार्ट की है। इसमें आर्बिट्रेशन एक्ट 1940 कंप्लीट जो है सेक्शन इसके के सारे उन सब के अंदर से एमसीक्यूज बनाए गए हैं और उनको मैं रिकॉर्ड कर रही हूँ। इसकी पीडीएफ भी मेरे पास अवेलेबल है, अगर किसी को चाहिए तो कमेंट सेक्शन में कमेंट कर दें, आपको मिल जाएगी। और उसके अलावा एरर्स एंड ओमिशंस आर एक्सेप्टेबल। तो अगर किसी को इसमें कोई इश्यू, कोई मिस्टेक, कोई आंसर गलत लगा हुआ नजर आए तो प्लीज काइंडली कमेंट कीजिएगा। थैंक यू सो मच। द आर्बिट्रेशन एक्ट 1940। पहला क्वेश्चन है जी, व्हाट इज द शॉर्ट टाइटल ऑफ द एक्ट। तो इसका शॉर्ट टाइटल है द आर्बिट्रेशन एक्ट 1940। ऑन व्हाट डेट डिड द आर्बिट्रेशन एक्ट 1940 कम इनटू फोर्स। तो ये इन्फोर्समेंट डेट इसकी जो है 1 जुलाई 1940 है, और इसकी इनेक्टमेंट डेट जो है वो है 16 मार्च 1940। तो ये दो डेट्स हैं, एक डेट इनेक्टमेंट की और एक डेट इन्फोर्समेंट की। टू विच जियोग्राफिकल एरिया डज द आर्बिट्रेशन एक्ट एक्सटेंड। तो ये पूरे पाकिस्तान पर एप्लीकेबल होगा, टू द होल ऑफ पाकिस्तान। नेक्स्ट है जी, अकॉर्डिंग टू द एक्ट व्हाट कॉन्स्टिट्यूट्स एन आर्बिट्रेशन एग्रीमेंट। आर्बिट्रेशन एग्रीमेंट में क्या होना चाहिए? आर रिटर्न एग्रीमेंट टू सबमिट प्रेजेंट और फ्यूचर डिफरेंसेस ऑफ टू आर्बिट्रेशन। आर्बिट्रेशन एग्रीमेंट के अंदर प्रेजेंट या फ्यूचर डिफरेंसेस जो आ जाते हैं दोनों पार्टीज के दरमियान, तो वो एक आर्बिट्रेशन एग्रीमेंट लिख लेती हैं कि अगर हमारे दरमियान कोई भी मसला, कोई भी तनाज़ा क्रिएट होता है इन फ्यूचर या अभी भी, तो वो आर्बिट्रेशन के जरिए हल करवाया जाएगा। अगला है जी, व्हाट इज डिफाइंड एज एन अवार्ड अंडर द आर्बिट्रेशन एक्ट। एन अवार्ड, आर्बिट्रेशन अवार्ड, तो जो आर्बिट्रेशन जो फैसला करता है उस फैसले को आर्बिट्रेशन अवार्ड कहते हैं। अकॉर्डिंग टू द एक्ट विच कोर्ट हैज जुरिस्डिक्शन ओवर मैटर्स रिलेटेड टू द आर्बिट्रेशन इफ द सेम सब्जेक्ट मैटर वर टू बी लिटिगेटेड। तो राइट आंसर क्या है? सिविल कोर्ट। सिविल कोर्ट की जो है वो पावर जो है इसमें जो आर्बिट्रेशन है वो एक्सरसाइज कर सकते हैं। अकॉर्डिंग टू द एक्ट व्हाट टाइप ऑफ कोर्ट इज जनरली नॉट इंक्लूडेड इन द डेफिनेशन ऑफ द कोर्ट। कोर्ट की डेफिनेशन में डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट भी आती है, हाई कोर्ट भी आती है, सिविल कोर्ट भी आती है, लेकिन स्मॉल काजेज कोर्ट की डेफिनेशन से एक्सक्लूड कर दी गई है इस एक्ट की हद तक। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है जी, अंडर व्हाट स्पेसिफिक सर्कमस्टांसेस डज द एक्ट स्टेट that a small cause court can be considered a court for the purpose of arbitration proceeding under section 21। arbitration act के section 21 के तहत arbitration proceeding जो है वो कंसिडर की जाएगी कोर्ट। According to the act, who is considered a legal representative of a deceased person? Legal representative deceased person का कौन होगा? A person who legally represents the state including someone who interferes with it। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है जी, ये आर्बिट्रेशन एक्ट बहुत आसान है, बहुत ही सिंपल लैंग्वेज इसमें लिखी गई। इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ अ पार्टी एक्टिंग इन अ रिप्रेजेंटेटिव कैपेसिटी हु इज कंसिडर्ड देयर लीगल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव अपॉन द डेथ अकॉर्डिंग टू द एक्ट। तो द पर्सन टू ऑन होम द स्टेट ऑफ द डिसीज पार्टी डिवॉल्व्स, वो क्या कहलाएगा? लीगल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव। द अदर पर्सन, द अदर पार्टी टू आर्बिट्रेशन एग्रीमेंट, सॉरी वो डी ऑप्शन था। व्हाट डज द टर्म रेफरेंस मीन विद इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ द आर्बिट्रेशन एक्ट। तो रेफरेंस से मुराद क्या है? रेफरेंस टू आर्बिट्रेशन। नेक्स्ट है जी, अनलेस एक्सप्लिसिटली स्टेटेड अदरवाइज इन द आर्बिट्रेशन एग्रीमेंट व्हाट प्रोविजंस आर कंसिडर्ड टू बी इंक्लूडेड इन द एग्रीमेंट अकॉर्डिंग टू सेक्शन 3 ऑफ द एक्ट। द प्रोविजंस सेट आउट इन द फर्स्ट शेड्यूल ऑफ द एक्ट। द एक्ट से मुराद ये आर्बिट्रेशन एक्ट है, इसके फर्स्ट शेड्यूल। Next is according to section 4, how may parties to an arbitration agreement arrange for the appointment of arbitrators by agreeing that a person designated in the agreement will appoint the arbitrators। Next is who can be designated in the arbitration agreement about to appoint the arbitrators. Any person named specifically or by virtue of their official position. Next is under what circumstances can the authority of an appointed arbitrator or umpire be revoked according to section 5 of the act? Only with the permission of leave of the court. Leave of the court के साथ वो रिवोक की जाएगी authority. Is the authority of an appointed arbitrator or umpire always irrevocable? No, it cannot. It can be revoked with the leave of the court unless the arbitration agreement express a contrary intention. Next, according to section 6, subclause 1 of the act, what happens to an arbitration agreement upon the death of a party? It remains enforceable by or against the legal representative of the deceased. Next, as per section 6, subclass 2, can the authority of an arbitrator be revoked due to the death of the party who appointed them? Yes, the death automatically revokes the arbitrator's authority. ये है बी, नहीं गलत, सॉरी, ये रिवोक्स ए ऑप्शन गलत है, इसका ऑप्शन राइट सी है. नो, द आर्बिट्रेटर्स अथॉरिटी इज नॉट रिवोक्ड बाय द डेथ ऑफ द अपॉइंटिंग पार्टी, क्योंकि उसकी जो वो अथॉरिटी है वो डिवॉल्व हो जाएगी लीगल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव पर. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है जी, अकॉर्डिंग टू सेक्शन 6 सब क्लास 1, हु कैन इनफोर्स द आर्बिट्रेशन एग्रीमेंट इफ अ पार्टी डाइज. अगर कोई पार्टी मर जाती है तो फिर आर्बिट्रेशन एग्रीमेंट की किसके ऊपर पास हो जाएगी? द लीगल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ऑफ द डिसीज्ड और द अदर ओरिजिनल पार्टी. नेक्स्ट है जी, व्हाट इज द लिमिटेशन इम्पोज्ड बाय सेक्शन 6 सब क्लास 3 ऑन द प्रोविजंस ऑफ सेक्शन 6? It does not affect any law that extinguishes a right of action upon a person's death. अगला क्वेश्चन है जी, in the event of party's death, does section 6 override all other laws related to the extinction of a right of action? Answer है no, section 6 does not affect the option of any law that extinguishes a right of action upon death. यानी कि किसी के मरने के बाद अगर कोई राइट खत्म हो जाता है तो उसके ऊपर ये लॉ अफेक्ट नहीं करेगा. अकॉर्डिंग टू सेक्शन 7(1), इफ अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विद एन इंसॉल्वेंट पार्टी कंटेन्स एन आर्बिट्रेशन क्लॉज and the receiver adopts the contract in the arbitration clause enforceable. Yes, the arbitration clause is enforceable by or against the receiver concerning differences arising from or connected to the contract. यानी कि अगर कोई बंदा इंसॉल्वेंट हो जाता है, दिवालिया हो जाता है, तो फिर उसके ऊपर रिसीवर अपॉइंट किया जाता है, तो वो रिसीवर के ऊपर आर्बिट्रेशन की प्रोविजन एप्लीकेबल होंगे. अगला क्वेश्चन है जी, एज पर सेक्शन 7 सब क्लास 2, इफ एन इंसॉल्वेंट पर्सन वाज पार्टी टू एन आर्बिट्रेशन एग्रीमेंट बिफोर इंसॉल्वेंसी प्रोसीडिंग्स begin and the matter needs to be determined for the insolvency proceedings, who can apply to the insolvency court for an order of reference to arbitration? Any other party to the agreement or the receiver. Next question is, under the scenario described in section 7 sub class 2, what is the primary consideration for the insolvency court when deciding whether to order a reference to arbitration? Answer is C, whether considering all circumstances the matter ought to be determined by the arbitration. Next question is, according to section 7 sub class 3, what is included within the meaning of the term receiver in this section? क्लास सी है जी, बोथ अ प्राइवेटली अपॉइंटेड रिसीवर एंड ऑफिशियल असाइन. अगला क्वेश्चन है जी, सेक्शन 7 सब क्लास 1 अप्लाइज व्हेन. आंसर है an insolvent party matters enters into an arbitration agreement after the commencement of insolvency proceeding. Next question है जी, according to section 8 subclass 1A, under what circumstances can a party apply to the court for appointment of an arbitrator? When the agreement states that the arbitrators will be appointed by mutual consent but the parties fail to agree after a dispute arise. Next, as per section 8 subclass 1 clause B, in which of the following sections can the court intervene to appoint a substitute arbitrator or umpire? Answer C, if an appointed arbitrator or umpire neglects to act, is incapable or dies and the agreement doesn't preclude filing the vacancy but the parties or arbitrators fails to do so. Next है जी, according to section 8C, when can the court be approached for the appointment of an umpire? तो कोर्ट कब अप्रोच कर सकती है अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ अंपायर के लिए? व्हेन द पार्टीज और द आर्बिट्रेटर्स आर रिक्वायर्ड टू अपॉइंट एन अंपायर बट फेल टू डू सो. Next is what is the prerequisite for a party to apply to the court for the appointment of an arbitrator or umpire under section 8. Serving a written notice to the other parties or arbitrators to occur in the appointment or in the filing the vacancy and a 15-day period has lapsed. अगला क्वेश्चन है जी, इफ द कोर्ट अपॉइंट्स एन आर्बिट्रेटर और अंपायर अंडर सेक्शन 8 सब क्लास 2 व्हाट पावर डू दे possesses the same power to act in the reference and make an award as if they were appointed by the consent of all parties. Next is according to section 9, what is the default arrangement when an arbitration agreement specifies that each party will appoint one arbitrator? The provisions of section 9 apply unless the agreement indicates a different intention. Next question is as per section 9A, 9 subclass A, what recourse does a party have if the arbitrator they appointed neglects or refuses to act, is incapable of acting or dies? तो आंसर है जी, द पार्टी हु अपॉइंटेड द आर्बिट्रेटर हैज द पावर टू अपॉइंट अ न्यू आर्बिट्रेटर इन देयर प्लेस. यानी पिछला खत्म हो जाएगा तो नया अपॉइंट किया जा सकता है. जिसने पिछला अपॉइंट किया था वही नया अपॉइंट करेगी. According to section 9b, under what condition can a party who has already appointed their arbitrator proceed to appoint that arbitrator as the sole arbitrator? Next इसका आंसर है जी, if the other party fails to appoint their arbitrator within 15 clear days after receiving a written notice to do so and the notifying party had already appointed their arbitrator. अगला क्वेश्चन है जी, व्हाट पावर डज द कोर्ट हैव रिगार्डिंग द अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ अ सोल आर्बिट्रेटर मेड अंडर सेक्शन 9 सब क्लास बी? The court may set aside the appointment of the sole arbitrator and either grant more time for the defaulting party to appoint their arbitrator or pass any other order it deems fit upon sufficient cause being shown. अगला क्वेश्चन है जी, अकॉर्डिंग टू द एक्सप्लेनेशन टू सेक्शन 9, व्हाट सर्कमस्टांसेस माइट बी कंसिडर्ड नेग्लेक्ट और रिफ्यूजल टू एक्ट बाय एन आर्बिट्रेटर और अंपायर? आंसर है इसका, फेलियर टू कंप्लाई विद द रिक्वेस्ट टू एंटर ऑन एंड प्रोसीड विद द रेफरेंस विद इन 1 month ऑफ द रिक्वेस्ट. नेक्स्ट है जी, अकॉर्डिंग टू सेक्शन 10 क्लॉज 1, if an arbitration agreement specifies 3 arbitrators, one by each party and the third by the 2 appointed arbitrators, how is this arrangement treated under this act? Answer है, as an agreement for the appointment of an umpire by the 2 party appointed arbitrators. Next है जी, as per section 10 subclass 2, if an arbitration agreement provides for 3 arbitrators appointed in the manner other than as described in section 10 clause 1, whose decision prevails in making the award unless the agreement states otherwise? आंसर है जी सी, द डिसीजन ऑफ द मेजोरिटी ऑफ द 3 arbitrators. Next question, according to section 10 subclass 3, if an arbitration agreement provides for more than 3 arbitrators and they are equally divided in their opinions, whose decision prevails unless the agreement states otherwise? The decision of the majority of the arbitrators. अगला क्वेश्चन है जी, if the under what primary condition can the court remove an arbitrator or umpire as per section 11 clause 1? आंसर है इसका सी, if the arbitrator or umpire fails to use reasonable dispatch in proceeding with the reference and making an award. अगला क्वेश्चन है जी, according to section 11 subclass 2, what is another ground on which the court may remove an arbitrator or umpire? आंसर सी, if the arbitrator or umpire has misconducted themselves or their proceeding. अगर arbitrator misconduct करता है तो उसे remove किया जा सकता है. Next is what is the consequence for an arbitrator or umpire who is removed by the court under section 11 according to section 11 subclass 3? आंसर है इसका, they are not entitled to receive any remuneration for their services. यानी कि अगर कोई मिसकंडक्ट करता है तो फिर उसे रिम्यूनरेशन नहीं मिलेगी, अदरवाइज आर्बिट्रेटर को रिम्यूनरेशन मिलती है. For the purpose, अगला क्वेश्चन, for the purpose of section 11, what does proceeding with reference include when a reference to the umpire becomes necessary as stated in the section 11 subclass 4, giving notice of that necessity to both the parties and the umpire? Next, according to section 12 subclass 1, if the court removes an umpire who hasn't started the reference or some but not all of the arbitrators, what action can the court take upon application by a party? आंसर है इसका, अपॉइंट पर्सन टू फिल द वैकेंसीज. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है जी, एज पर सेक्शन 12 subclass 2, if the court revokes the authority of an arbitrator or an umpire or removes an umpire who has entered the reference, a sole arbitrator or all arbitrators, what are the options available to the court upon a party's application? Answer है either to appoint a sole arbitrator in place of those displaced or to order that the arbitration agreement ceases to have effect regarding the referred differences. Next question is according to section 12 subclass 3, what powers does a person appointed by the court as an arbitrator or umpire under this section possess the same power to act in the reference and make an award as if they had been appointed according to the arbitration agreement? Next question is unless the arbitration agreement expresses a different intention, what power do the arbitrators or umpire have regarding oaths as per section 13a? To administer an oath to the parties and witnesses appearing before them. Next question is according to section 13b, what options do the arbitrators or umpire have concerning questions of law? They must answer that they have the power to state a special case for the court's opinion on any legal question involved or state the award wholly or partly as a special case on such a question. Next question is as per section 13 subclass C, what kind of award can the arbitrator or umpire make unless the agreement specifies otherwise? Answer is an award that is either conditional or in the alternative. Next question is according to section 13 subclass D, what kind of corrections can the arbitrators or umpire make to an award? Corrections to any clerical mistake or error arising from an accidental slip or omission. Next question is as per section 13E, what power do the arbitrators or umpire have regarding interrogatories to the parties? Answer is they can administer interrogatories to any party if they believe it is necessary. Next question is according to section 14 subclass 1, what are the mandatory actions that arbitrators or an umpire must take after making their award? Answer is they must sign the award and provide written notice to the parties about the making and signing of the award as well as the arbitration fees and charges. Next question is as per section 12 subclass 2, under what circumstances are the arbitrators or umpire obligated to file the award in court, either at the request of any party or someone claiming under them, or if directed by the court and upon payment of the relevant fees and charges. Next question is what condition additional documents may be filed in court along with the award or signed copy according to section 14 subclass 2. Answer is any deposition and documents that were taken and proved before the arbitrators or umpire. Next, according to section 14 subclass 3, what happens when the arbitrator or umpire state a special case for the opinion of the court under section 13 subclass B? The court, after notice and hearing the parties, will pronounce its opinion, which will be added to and form part of the award. अगला क्वेश्चन है जी, under which of the following circumstances can the court modify or correct an award according to section 15 subclass A? B, if it appears that a part of the award deals with the matter not submitted to arbitration and that part can be separated without affecting the decision on the referred matter. अगला क्वेश्चन है जी, अकॉर्डिंग टू सेक्शन 15 सब क्लास बी, व्हाट इज अनदर ग्राउंड फॉर द कोर्ट टू मॉडिफाई और करेक्ट एन अवार्ड? आंसर है इसका जी, इफ द अवार्ड इज imperfect in form or contains an obvious error that can be amended without affecting the decision. Next, as per section 15 subclass C, what specific types of mistake or error in the award can the court correct? Answer है clerical mistake or error arising from an accidental slip or omission. Next, according to section 16 subclass 1 clause A, under what circumstances can the court remit an award for reconsideration? Answer is if the award has failed to address all the issues that were submitted to the arbitration, or if it decides on a matter outside the scope of the reference that cannot be separated without affecting the decision on the referred matters. Next, as per section 16 subclass 1 clause B, what is another ground for the court to remit an award? If the award is so unclear or uncertain that it cannot be implemented or enforced. Next, according to section 16 subclass 1 clause C, what further reason allows the court to remit an award? Answer है if an objection to the legality of the award is evident from the award itself. अगला है जी, when the court remits an award under section 16 clause 1, what is the court required to do according to section 16 subclause 2? Answer है जी, fix the time limit within which the arbitrator or umpire must submit their reconsidered decision to the court. Next is according to the proviso section 16 subclause 2, can the time limit fixed for the arbitrator or umpire to submit their reconsideration decision be altered? Answer is इसका yes, the court may extend the initially fixed time limit by a subsequent order. Next is what is the consequence if the arbitrator or umpire fails to reconsider the award and submit their decision within the time fixed by the court as per section 16 subclause 3. Answer is इसका जी, the award that was remitted becomes void. अगला क्वेश्चन है जी, अकॉर्डिंग टू सेक्शन 17, अंडर व्हाट कंडीशंस विल द कोर्ट प्रोसीड टू प्रोनाउंस जजमेंट अकॉर्डिंग टू द आर्बिट्रेशन अवार्ड? आंसर है इसका सी, इफ द कोर्ट finds no reason to remit the award or set it aside, either after the time limit for applying to set aside the award has passed, or if such an application was made and subsequently rejected. Next question है जी, what legal instrument follows the judgment pronounced by a court in accordance with the arbitration award under section 17? इसमें आंसर नहीं लगा हुआ तो मुझे सारे पढ़ने करेंगे, पहले सवाल दोबारा पढ़ लेते हैं. बट लीगल इंस्ट्रूमेंट फॉलोज द जजमेंट प्रोनाउंस्ड बाय द कोर्ट in accordance with the arbitration award under section 17. A summary order, a decree, a certificate of endorsement, a letter of execution. I don't know the answer. आपका अगर पता है तो आप कमेंट सेक्शन में बताइएगा, मैं इसको मज़ीद चेक करके आंसर कर दूंगी. सेक्शन 17 के तहत according to section 17, what is the general rule regarding appeals against a decree passed based on an arbitration award? Answer is C, no appeal shall lie from such a decree except on specific grounds. Next question is, what is the specific ground on which an appeal can be made against a decree passed in terms of an arbitration award as mentioned in section 17? Answer is C, on the ground that the decree is in excess of or not otherwise in accordance with the award. अगला क्वेश्चन है जी, व्हाट इज द सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ द एक्सपायरी ऑफ द टाइम लिमिट फॉर मेकिंग एन एप्लीकेशन टू सेट असाइड द अवार्ड इन द कंटेक्स्ट ऑफ सेक्शन 17? आंसर है जी सी, it allows the court to proceed with the pronouncing judgment according to the award provided there is no other cause to remit or set aside the award. Next question है जी, according to section 18 subclass 1, even before serving notice of the awards filing, under what circumstances can the court pass interim orders? Answer is C, if the court is satisfied by affidavit or otherwise that a party is acting to obstruct the execution of a potential decree or that speedy execution is just and necessary. Next is as per section 18 subclass 2, what recourse does a person having against whom the court has passed interim orders under section 18 subclause 1? Answer is they may show cause against the interim orders and the court will then hear the parties and pass further necessary and just orders. Next question is, according to section 19, under what conditions can the court supersede the arbitration reference? Answer is C, if the award has become void under section 16 subclass 3, failure to reconsider within the fixed time, or has been set aside by the court. Next question is, what is the consequence of the court superseding the reference under section 19? Answer is the arbitration agreement ceases to have effect with respect to difference that was referred. Question is, does section 18 empower the court to pass interim orders before the award is filed in the court? हाँ, इसका भी आंसर नहीं लगा, इसका आंसर भी आप बताएं. सवाल दोबारा पढ़ देती हूँ. डज सेक्शन 18 empower the court to pass interim orders before the award is filed in the कोर्ट? क्या कोर्ट और सेक्शन 18 जो है कोर्ट को एम्पावर करता है कि वो इंटरम ऑर्डर करे बिफोर द अवार्ड इज फाइल्ड इन द कोर्ट? अवार्ड आने से पहले तो नहीं हो सकता. इसका आंसर है सी. कंफर्म आप बताइएगा. अकॉर्डिंग टू सेक्शन 21 subclass 1, when 20 class section 20 subclass 1, when can parties who have entered into an agreement arbitration agreement before a suit is filed apply to the court to have the agreement filed? Answer is if a difference has arisen to which the agreement applies and they choose not to proceed under chapter 2. Next question is, and as per section 20 subclass 2, how is an application to file an arbitration agreement treated by the court? It is numbered and registered as a regular suit between the interested parties. Next question is what is the court required to do upon receiving an application to file an arbitration agreement according to section 20 subclass 3. Answer is that direct notice to be given to all parties to the agreement who are not applicants, requiring them to show cause why the agreement should not be filed. Next question is according to section 20 subclass 4. What happens if no sufficient cause is shown against the filing of the arbitration agreement? Answer is that the court will order the agreement to be filed and make a reference to the arbitrator appointed by parties, or if they cannot agree to an arbitrator appointed by the court. Next question is once the arbitration agreement is filed in the court and the reference is made, how do the subsequent arbitration agreement proceeding proceed as per section 20 subclass 5? Answer is in accordance with and governed by the other applicable provisions of the Arbitration Act 1940. Next question is according to section 21. When can all interested parties in a suit apply for an order of reference to arbitration? Answer is C. At any time before the judgment is pronounced, if they all agree to refer any matter in deference to arbitration. Next is as per section 22. How is the arbitrator appointed when a matter in a suit is referred to arbitration by the parties? आंसर है जी इन द मैनर अग्रीड अपॉन बिटवीन द पार्टीज पार्टीज आपस में जो अग्री हो जाएंगे उसके मुताबिक. नेक्स्ट है जी अकॉर्डिंग टू सेक्शन 23 सब क्लास 1 व्हाट मस्ट द कोर्ट स्पेसिफाई इन इट्स ऑर्डर रेफरिंग अ मैटर इन डिफरेंस टू आर्बिट्रेशन. आंसर है जी इसका रीजनेबल टाइम लिमिट फॉर द आर्बिट्रेटर और टू मेक द अवार्ड. आगे है जी एज पर सेक्शन 23 सब क्लास 2 वंस अ मैटर इन अ सूट और इज रेफर्ड टू आर्बिट्रेशन हाउ शुड द कोर्ट जनरली प्रोसीड विद दैट स्पेसिफिक मैटर इन द सूट. आंसर is कि the court shall not deal with the matter in that suit except as provided in the act. Again, according to section 24, if only some of the parties to a suit apply for arbitration of the differences between them, what discretion does the court have? The court may refer such matter to arbitration if they can be separated from the rest of the suit's subject matter. Next question is according to section 24, if a reference to arbitration is made by some parties in a suit, what is the status of the suit with respect to the other parties and matters not included in the reference? Answer is C. The suit continues for the parties who did not join the application and met for matters not referred as if no such application was made. Next is as per section 25, which provisions of the Arbitration Act 1940 generally apply to arbitrations conducted under chapter 2 arbitration in suit. Answer is the provisions of the chapter of the act so far as they can be made applicable. Chapter 2. Next question is according to the provision of proviso in section 25 in circumstances mentioned in section 8, 10, 11 and 12, what alternative action can the court take instead of filing vacancies or making appointments of arbitrators? Answer is C. The court may make an order superseding the arbitration and proceed with the suit. Next question is according to the proviso in section 25, what action must the court take if it makes an order superseding the arbitration under section 19? Answer is the court shall proceed with the suit. Next question is according to section 26, unless specifically stated otherwise in the act, to which arbitrations do the provisions of the chapter 3 provisions applicable to all arbitrations apply? Answer is C. To all arbitrations. As per section 26A 1, what is a mandatory requirement for the arbitrators or umpire when making an award? Answer is they shall state the reasons for the award in sufficient detail to allow the court to consider any legal questions arising from it. Next question is according to section 26A subclass 2. What action will the court take if an award does not provide reasons in sufficient detail? Answer is C. The court shall remit the award to the arbitrators or umpire to provide sufficient reasons within a fixed time. Next, as per section 27 subclass 1, can arbitrators or an umpire make an entire award? Answer is yes, they may do so if they think fit, unless the arbitration agreement indicates a different intention. Next question is according to section 27 subclass 2, how are references to an award is the act be understood in relation to the interim award? Answer is इसका B. References to an award specifically pertain only to interim award. Next question is according to section 28 subclass 1, what power does the court have regarding the time limit for making an award? Answer is इसका C. The court may enlarge the time for making the award if it deems fit, regardless of whether the original time has expired or award has been made. Next question is as per section 28 subclass 2, what is the status of any provision in an arbitration agreement that allows the arbitrators or the umpire to extend the time for making the award without the consent of the all the parties? इसका आंसर भी पता नहीं क्यों नहीं लगाया, सॉरी मैंने इसको रीचेक नहीं किया कि ऑल द आंसर लगाए हुए या नहीं लगाए। अच्छा खैर, इस सेक्शन 28 सब क्लास 2 को आप देख लीजिएगा ताकि मजीद कंफर्म हो जाए, गलत बताने से बेहतर है ना बताऊं। अकॉर्डिंग टू सेक्शन 29, इफ एन अवार्ड इज फॉर द पेमेंट ऑफ मनी, व्हाट पावर डज द कोर्ट हैव व्हेन पासिंग अ डिक्री? Answer is C. The court may order interest from the date of the decree at a reasonable rate on the principal sum as adjusted and confirmed by the decree. Next question is according to section 30. Under what circumstances can an arbitration award be set aside? Answer is C. Only on one or more of the specific grounds listed in section 30. Next question is which of the following is a valid ground for setting aside an award under section 30? Answer is B. That the award was made under the court had superseded the arbitration. Next question is according to section 31 subclass 1, in which court can an award be filed? Answer is C. In any court having jurisdiction in the matter in which to which the reference relates subject to the Act's provisions. Next question is as per section 31 subclass 2, which court has the exclusive jurisdiction to decide the question regarding the validity, effect or existence of an award or arbitration agreement? Answer is C. The court in which the award under the agreement has been or may be filed and no other court subject to the Act. Next question is according to section 31 subclass 3, where should all applications regarding the conduct of arbitration proceedings or arising out of such proceedings be made? Answer is to the court where the award has been or may be filed and no other court. Next question is as per section 31 subclass 4, if an application under the Act has been made in competent court during a reference, which court will have jurisdiction over all subsequent applications arising out of the reference? Answer is C. The court alone which was initially competent to entertain the application and no other court. Next question is according to section 32, what is the general bar against challenging an arbitration agreement or award? Answer is C. No suit shall lie on any ground whatsoever for a decision upon the existence, effect or validity of an arbitration agreement or award, nor can they be set aside, amended, modified or affected except as provided in this Act. अगला क्वेश्चन है जी एज पर सेक्शन 33, हाउ शुड अ पार्टी डिजायरिंग टू चैलेंज द एक्सिस्टेंस और वैलिडिटी ऑफ एन आर्बिट्रेशन एग्रीमेंट और एन अवार्ड अप्रोच द कोर्ट? आंसर है जी बाय मेकिंग एन एप्लीकेशन टू द कोर्ट एंड द कोर्ट शैल डिसाइड द क्वेश्चन ऑन एफिडेविट्स. Next, according to the provisions to section 33, under what circumstances can the court deviate from deciding the challenge to an arbitration agreement or award solely on affidavits? Answer is if the court deems it just and expedient, it may set down the application for hearing on another evidence as well. Question is what additional powers does the court have under the proviso to section 33? What inter decide to hear an application challenging an arbitration agreement or award on evidence beyond affidavits? Answer is the power to pass order for discovery and particulars as it may do in a suit. Next question is according to section 34, who can apply for a stay of legal proceedings if there is a valid arbitration agreement covering the subject matter of the suit? Answer is C. Any party to the arbitration agreement or any person claiming under them who is also a party to the legal proceeding. Question is according to section 34, what is the latest stage in the legal proceedings by which an application for a stay can be made? Answer is C. At any time before filing a written statement or taking any other steps in the proceeding. Next question is according to section 34, what are the conditions that a judicial authority must be satisfied with before ordering a stay of legal proceeding in favor of arbitration? Answer is C. That there is no sufficient reason why the matter should not be referred to arbitration according to the agreement, and that the applicant was and remains ready and willing to do all the things necessary for the proper conduct of the arbitration. Next question is, what is the primary purpose of Section 34 of the Arbitration Act 1944? Answer is C, to allow parties who have agreed to arbitration to enforce that agreement by staying parallel legal proceedings. Question is, if a party applies for a stay of legal proceeding under Section 34, does the judicial authority have the direction to refuse the stay even if the valid arbitration agreement exists? Answer is B, yes, if the judicial authority finds sufficient reason why the matter should not be referred to arbitration. Question is, according to Section 35(1), does the commencement of legal proceeding on the subject matter of an arbitration automatically invalidate a pending arbitration? Yes, answer है जी, no, a reference or award is not invalid merely because legal proceeding have begun on the same subject matter. Question है जी, as per section 35, when do all further proceedings in a pending arbitration become invalid due to the commencement of legal proceedings? Answer है, if legal proceedings upon the whole of the subject matter of the reference have been commenced between all the parties to the reference and notices of this has been given to the arbitrators or umpire unless a stay of proceedings is granted under section 34. Next question is, according to section 35 subclass 2, who is included in the expression parties to the reference for the purpose of this section? Answer is C, any person claiming under any of the original parties and litigating under the same title. अगला क्वेश्चन है, according to section 36, if the court orders that an arbitration agreement shall cease to have effect regarding a particular difference, what further order can a court make regarding a provision making an award a condition precedent to an action? Answer is B, the court may order that the said provision shall also cease to have effect as regards that difference. Next is, as per section 37 clause 1, which law applies to the limitation period for arbitrations in the same way it applies to the proceeding in court? The limitation act 1908 जो है इसके ऊपर अप्लाई होगा. According to section 37 subclass 2, how is the accrual of a cause of action treated for limitation purposes notwithstanding a term in the arbitration notwithstanding in the term in the arbitration agreement stating that no cause of action arises until an award is made? Answer is D. A cause of action is deemed to have accrued at the time when it would have accrued if not for that term in the agreement. Sorry. Next, according to section 37 subclass 3, when is an arbitration deemed to have commenced for the purpose of limitation? Answer है जी इसका C, when one party serves a notice on the other parties requiring the appointment of an arbitrator or requiring the submission of the difference to a named or designated person as per the agreement. Next, according to section 37 subclass 4, if an arbitration agreement sets a time limit for giving notice to appoint an arbitrator or taking other steps to commence arbitration, can the court extend this time limit even if after it has expired? Answer is yes, the court may extend the time if it believes that undue hardships would otherwise be caused and on such terms as it may deem just. Next question is, what is the primary consideration for the court when deciding whether to extend the time limit under section 37 subclass 4? Answer is whether undue hardship would result if the extension is not granted. Question is, according to section 37 subclass 5, what happens to the period between the commencement of arbitration and the date of the court order setting aside the award or ordering the arbitration agreement ceases to have effect? Answer is this period shall be excluded when computing the time prescribed by the Limitation Act for the time being for in commencing proceeding including arbitration on the referred difference. Next question is, for the purpose of section 37 subclass 5, when is an arbitration considered to have commenced? Answer is C, as defined in section 37 subclass 3, i.e. when notice to appoint an arbitrator or submit a named arbitrator is served. Next question is, according to section 38 subclass 1, what recourse does a party have if an arbitrator or umpire refuses to release the award without payment of their demanded fees? Answer is that party can apply to the court for an order directing the arbitrator or umpire to deliver the award upon payment of the demanded fees into the court. ये सारे क्वेश्चन आंसर जो है ना वो मैं एक्सप्लेन कर सकती हूँ, लेकिन अगर मैं एक्सप्लेन करूंगी तो ये वीडियो जो है 2 ढाई घंटे 3 घंटे तक पहुंच जाएगी। तो फिलहाल सिर्फ मकसद ये है कि क्वेश्चन किस तरीके से आ सकते हैं और किस तरह के आंसर हो सकते हैं। ये इसमें पीडीएफ फाइल है, चूंकि इसमें बड़े बड़े नजर आ रहे हैं तो मोस्ट प्रोबेबल चांसेस है कि छोटे छोटे क्वेश्चन होंगे, लेकिन ये भी मुमकिन है कि बड़े बड़े सवाल ही इसी तरह हों। अच्छा जी, अगला क्वेश्चन है एज पर सेक्शन 38(1) व्हाट स्टेप्स कैन द कोर्ट टेक आफ्टर द एप्लीकेंट पेज द डिमांडेड फीस इनटू द कोर्ट। आंसर is कि the court shall conduct an inquiry if it deems fit to determine a reasonable fee for the arbitrator or umpire and order payment accordingly with any balance refunded to the applicant. Next question is according to section 38 subclass 2 who can make an application to the court under section 38 subclass 1. Answer है any party to the reference unless the demanded fees were fixed by a written agreement between that party and the arbitrator or umpire. Next question is as per section 38 subclass 2 what right does the arbitrator or umpire have when an application is made under section 38 clause 1. Answer है इसका the right to appear and be heard by the court on the application. Question है जी according to section 38 subclass 3 what power does the court have regarding the cost of an arbitration. Answer है इसका C. The court may make such orders as it thinks fit respecting the cost of an arbitration if a question arises regarding such cost and the award does not sufficiently addresses them. Question है जी according to section 39 subclass 1 what is the general rule regarding appeals from orders passed under the Arbitration Act 1940. Answer है इसका only orders specifically listed in section 39 clause 1 are appealable and to the court authorized to hear appeals from original decrees of the court passing the order. Next, which of the following orders passed under the Arbitration Act 1940 is specifically listed as appealable under section 39 clause 1. आंसर है इसका सी एन ऑर्डर सुपरसीडिंग एन आर्बिट्रेशन, इसके खिलाफ अपील हो सकती है। नेक्स्ट है अकॉर्डिंग टू सेक्शन 39(1) सब क्लास 2 इज एन ऑर्डर ऑन एन अवार्ड स्टेटेड इन द फॉर्म ऑफ अ स्पेशल केस अपीलेबल. Yes, it is one of the listed appealable orders. Next is according to section 39(1) clause 5 is an order staying and or refusing to stay legal proceedings where there is an arbitration agreement appealable. Answer है जी इसका B. Yes, it is one of the listed appealable orders. According to the provision to section 39(1) do the appeal provisions of this section apply to orders passed by which type of the court? A small cause court. Next question is according to section 39 subclass 2 what is the rule regarding second appeals from an order passed in the first appeal under this section. Answer is C. No second appeal shall lie from such an order. Next question is does the section 39 affect the right to appeal to the Supreme Court. Answer is C. No, nothing in this section shall affect or take away any right to appeal to the Supreme Court. Next question is according to section 40 what is the general rule regarding the jurisdiction of a small cause court over arbitration matter. Answer है इसका C. A small cause court shall have no jurisdiction over an arbitration proceedings or applications arising therefrom except for applications made under section 21 arbitration in suit before it. Next question now है जी एक सेकंड। हाँ जी सॉरी। एज पर सेक्शन 41A which procedural law applies to all proceedings before the court and to all appeals under the Arbitration Act 1940. आंसर है इसका सी द कोड ऑफ सिविल प्रोसीजर 1908। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है जी अकॉर्डिंग टू सेक्शन 41 सब क्लास बी व्हाट पावर्स डज द कोर्ट हैव फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ एंड इन रिलेशन टू आर्बिट्रेशन प्रोसीडिंग. आंसर है इसका बी द सेम पावर ऑफ मेकिंग ऑर्डर्स इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ द मैटर सेट आउट इन द सेकंड शेड्यूल एज इट हैज फॉर proceeding before the court. Next question is according to the proviso to section 41B does the court's power to make orders under the second schedule prejudice any similar powers vested in an arbitrator or umpire. Answer is no, nothing in clause B shall be taken to prejudice any power vested in an arbitrator or umpire for making orders on those matters. अगला क्वेश्चन है जी अकॉर्डिंग टू सेक्शन 42 हाउ शुड अ नोटिस रिक्वायर्ड बाय द एक्ट टू बी सर्व्ड बाय अ पार्टी टू एन आर्बिट्रेटर अदरवाइज देन थ्रू द कोर्ट बी सर्व्ड. आंसर है इसका इन द मैनर प्रोवाइडेड इन द आर्बिट्रेशन एग्रीमेंट or if there is no such provision either by personal delivery or by registered post to the person's usual or last known place or abode or business in Pakistan. According to Section 43, Subclass 1, what kind of processes can the court issue at the request of an arbitrator or umpire? Answer is C. The same processes to the parties and witnesses as it may issue in suits tried before it. Question G. As per Section 43, Subclass 2, what consequences can persons face if they fail to attend arbitration proceedings as per the court issued process or commit other defaults or attempt? Answer is the same disadvantages, penalties, and punishment by order of the court on the arbitrator or umpire as representation as the case they would incur for similar offences in suit tried before the court. अगला क्वेश्चन है जी अकॉर्डिंग टू सेक्शन 43 सब क्लास 3 what does the term processes include in the context of this section? Answer is summons, commissions for the examination of witness and summons to produce document. Question है जी according to section 44 what is empowered to make rules consistent with the arbitration act 1944 1940? आंसर है इसका हाई कोर्ट जो है इसके रूल्स बनाएगी अकॉर्डिंग टू सेक्शन 46 which provisions of the arbitration act 1940 generally do not apply to arbitrations under other enactments? आंसर है इसका सी subsection 1 of section 6 arbitration agreement does not discharge by death and section 7 insolvency 12 power of court where arbitrator removed 36 conditions precedent to action and 37 limitations. Next question G. As per section 46, how is another enactment providing for arbitration treated under Arbitration Act 1940? Answer is it is treated as if it were an arbitration agreement except where the Arbitration Act 1940 is inconsistent with it or its rules. Next, according to section 47, to which arbitrations and proceeding does the Arbitration Act 1940 generally apply? Answer is subject to section 46 and other existing laws. It applies to all arbitrations and all proceedings there under. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है जी थक गई हूँ मैं जिसने यहाँ तक सुना तो थैंक यू सो मच उसका अकॉर्डिंग टू द प्रोविजो टू सेक्शन 47 हाउ कैन एन आर्बिट्रेशन अवार्ड obtained otherwise than under the act be considered by a court in pending suit? Answer is C. With the consent of all the parties interested it may be taken into consideration as a compromise or adjustment of a suit. Question है जी according to section 48 how does the Arbitration Act 1940 apply to arbitration references that were pending when the act came into force? Answer है इसका the law in force immediately before the commencement of the act continues to apply to any pending reference notwithstanding any appeal repeal by the act. इसका आंसर भी नहीं लगा हुआ है जी आगे है ही नहीं कोई भी लगा बहरहाल ये लास्ट ऑलमोस्ट सेक्शन है ये आगे शेड्यूल के एमसीक्यूज बने हुए तो यहाँ तक जिसने भी सुना है तो उसके लिए थैंक यू सो मच मैं इस वक्त मजीद थक गई और दिमाग भी थक गया तो मैं इसके आंसर खुद से बता नहीं सकती बता भी दूं तो वो गलत होने के चांसेस हैं तो मैं इसको देख के तो अगर आपका कोई सवाल है यहाँ तक भी इनफ मोर देन इनफ है थैंक यू सो मच फॉर लिसनिंग अल्लाह हाफिज़